The first time Eleanor saw him, she was wrestling a bag of birdseed from the trunk of her Buick, the October wind whipping her silver hair into her eyes. The bag split, seeds scattered like pale confetti across the parking lot of the feed store. "Damn it all," she muttered, bending stiffly. A hand, large, sun-browned, steady, appeared beside hers, scooping seeds back into the torn corner. "Let me," the man said. His voice carried the low rasp of someone who'd spent decades talking over engines and weather. She straightened, pressing a palm to her lower back, and met his eyes, the color of river stone after rain. He wore a faded denim jacket and the kind of smile that didn't ask permission. "Arthur," he offered, tipping an imaginary hat. "Eleanor." She brushed seed dust from her coat. "I'm usually better at this." "Ground's hungry," he said, nodding at the spill. "It'll take what it wants." She laughed, short, surprised, the sound rusty in her throat. It had been years since anything struck her as funny at 9:17 on a Tuesday. He carried the mended bag to her car, refused payment for the tape he'd used to patch it, and asked if she fed the chickadees or the squirrels. "Both," she admitted. "I'm a pushover." Arthur grinned. "Me too." That should have been the end. A polite exchange between two people who'd outlived most of their stories. But 3 days later, Eleanor found herself at the store again, buying thistle she didn't need, scanning the aisles for a denim jacket. She told herself it was habit. The birds. The routine. Arthur was restocking fence posts. He looked up, saw her, and the grin returned, slower this time, as if he'd been waiting to see whether she would. "Chickadees run out already?" he asked. "Greedy little things," she said. He wiped his hands on a rag. "There's a trail behind the old mill. Chickadees thick as thieves. I walk it most evenings. If you ever want company." She should have said she walked alone. That her knees complained. That Harold had been gone 12 years and the space beside her on any path still felt occupied by his ghost. Instead she heard herself answer, "Sunsets at 6:30. Arthur nodded once, like a man receiving orders he was happy to follow. They met at the trailhead. He carried a paper bag, she brought thermos coffee. The path wound through sugar maples just starting to bleed red. Their footsteps matched without trying. He told her he'd rebuilt engines for 40 years, that his wife, Ruth, had died of a stroke in the garden mid-sentence, something about the peonies. He still set an extra plate sometimes, out of muscle memory more than hope. Eleanor spoke of Harold's heart attack in the hardware store, how she'd found the perfect hinge for the gate that morning and come home to an ambulance. She talked about the grandkids who visited in noisy bursts and left the house too quiet. She did not mention the nights she still reached across the bed for a hand that wasn't there. "Arthur."